Jai Ganesha. Thank you for coming in July. Even if you don't come, still thank you for watching this video. So, my name is Manoj and I'm going to talk about what to expect at a July retreat and also do some teachings on Ramayana, Mahabharata and the Puranas. Because the idea is there are many secret symbolisms of all these stories, and in the yoga / Hindu tradition, knowledge is not given out. It's not easy to just give it out. It has to be extracted. So that's what we're going to do in a retreat. We're going to have a little taste during this brief video on what it's going to be about, the retreat. The thing I also want to emphasize is this retreat is for everyone, new, experienced. We have yoga teachers coming who's been practicing for a long time. We have civilians coming who are very new, and it's all good because there's philosophy, there's storytelling, but most importantly, there's practice. It's experiential. Like I remember Alan Watts said, hearing the word water doesn't make you wet. So it's not just hearing, it's also practicing. So there's going to be a big experiential component of the retreat. My guess is most people have heard me speak at various events, and even if you haven't, please come. And it may take a while to get used to my accent, and people know I'm a bit of a spiritual stand-up comedian. I may have to repeat some jokes if you don't understand my accent the first time, but I'm already working on many new jokes. Now, this whole thing of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and the Kali Yuga is about stories. It's about epics. And the word is called itihasa. Itihasa literally means in Sanskrit, it so happened. And when it comes to Ramayana and Mahabharata, there was actually a witness to the whole thing. And the witness himself was the author. So for instance, Valmiki wrote the Ramayana, sage Vyasa wrote the Mahabharata, and they themselves were characters. And then who's going to witness our stories in Kali Yuga? It's going to be Ganesh. He's the author of Kali Yuga. So the concept of time in the Hindu tradition is circular. And it's really about yugas, and there are 4 yugas. It's called Yuga. Yuga is a time period. And there are millions and millions of years, okay? So we're in the shortest Yuga, which is Kali Yuga, which is about 432,000 years. And then you have the Yuga before that is Dwapara Yuga, which is 4 times Kali Yuga. And then you have Treta Yuga, which is 4 times Dwapara. And then you have Satya Yuga, which is again 4 times Treta. And when you add up all the yugas and do the math into the day of Brahma and a night of Brahma, it's actually, you can do a calculation where from the Big Bang until now, the age of the universe comes to about 10 to 11 billion years, which is close to the Big Bang theory. The age of the universe is like 13.7 billion years, okay? Now you can ask, why bother with these stories? Because these stories have happened in earlier yugas. So for instance, Ramayana happened in Treta Yuga. Mahabharata happened in Dwapara Yuga. And we are living in Kali Yuga, all of us. So you can ask the question, why bother getting into it? Because we're still living all these stories. We can go through all these 4 yugas in one day. And you can also ask the question, why is it relevant to 21st century America? Because America is really a conglomerate of all these cultures, especially yoga is huge in America. So, you can make a joke, what's the difference? From yoga, I thought of yogurt, right? What's the difference between yogurt and America? From the founding of America until now, you let a yogurt sit for 200 years, it develops a culture, right? So I'm not sure if many people will appreciate that joke, but America is a melting pot. But it's not really a melting pot on the surface. We're more a salad bowl. We're all different. We have different, conditionings. Some of us might be broccoli, but that's okay. But underneath the salad bowl, we're a melting pot. There's a oneness. So through the stories, we're going to get into the oneness. And the introduction to this is in Satya Yuga. This is the golden age, the age of purity where everyone is pure. There are no demons. So you have the mythic bull, the Nandi bull of Shiva with 4 legs. And in Satya Yuga, all the 4 legs of the bull are intact. And then certain demons start to happen, So in Treta Yuga, 1 leg vanishes slowly. So you have 3-leg bull, and the demons start to appear outside in another country. That's Sri Lanka. That's the Ramayana. The demons were in another country, Sri Lanka, and then the king Rama, his wife gets abducted by Ravana, and Sita was his wife, and then Hanuman appears, right? So that's the Ramayana in Treta Yuga. And then the Yuga shifts. Now remember, this is over like millions of years. The Yuga shifts to Dwapara Yuga, where now you have only 2 legs of the bull. And the demons appear in your family. And that's why you have the Mahabharata, which is a war between 2 families. And Krishna comes and he teaches the Bhagavad Gita, right? So that's Dwapara Yuga. And then the Yuga again shifts to what we're living today. It's called Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the demons are within us. And we are all living these stories. And the text for Kali Yuga is what is called Puranas. Puranas literally means old. And this is not witnessed by sages like Ramayana and Mahabharata. This has happened sometime way back in the past, which are mythological stories of these deities like Shiva, Ganesh, Durga, Hanuman, etc., etc., etc. So we're going to get into storytelling as to what's our story in Kali Yuga. So we're going to have a big overview of the whole thing, but more importantly, we're going to focus on a few key characters, because each itihasa is vast. Like for instance, Ramayana has 24,000 verses. Mahabharata has 110,000 verses. So it's way too much. It's like the longest epic in human history, Mahabharata. But there are some meanings we can extract. We can practice on the archetypes of these itihasas, the main characters who we resonated with, and we're living these stories every day. So everyone's going to get involved. It's a lot of experiential practices. So let's talk, for instance, on Ramayana. The key jewel of the Ramayana, right? You have Ram, whose wife Sita gets abducted, right? Ram was a king. And there's another character that emerges, Hanuman. So to me, and every person reacts differently, some people resonate with Sita. The Sita archetype is very powerful. She's an incarnation of Lakshmi. And Sita makes some choices in the Ramayana. We're going to get into that. And Sita is a central woman character here in the Ramayana. The central woman character in the Mahabharata is Draupadi. Okay, she's the wife of the 5 Pandavas. I know I'm jumping around, but hang with me. Okay, we're going to jump around more like a monkey pretty soon. Sita makes some choices which determines the fate of the Ramayana. Okay, but there's another character that emerges, which is Hanuman. So to me, the jewel of the Ramayana is Hanuman. And then in Mahabharata, you have this 2 families fighting. Remember, the demons are in your own family. So you have the Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas, which I'm going to relate it to the 5 chakras, main chakras within us. And then you have the 100 Kauravas. The 100 Kauravas, I'm going to relate it to our egotistic impulses. So for instance, you have 10, which is called Jnana Indriyas and Karma Indriyas. You have 10 sense organs, and 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action. That makes it 10. You have 10 directions, right? East, west, north, south, northeast, southwest, etc. That makes it 8, up and down. So that makes it a total of 10. You have 10 times 10, which is 100, which is 100 ways we have the sense-driven impulses, greed, jealousy, lust, etc., etc. Similarly, in the Ramayana, Ram's father is called Dasharatha. Dashrath means 10, a chariot with 10. Again, it's the 10 which includes the 5 sense organs, the 5 organs of actions. There are deep symbols in all these names, like the word Duryodhana in the Mahabharata, the main villain. Du means difficult, Yodhana means to fight. So what does it represent? It's our ego. That's a final frontier. So these names themselves are encoded. So we're going to get into the secret symbols, but also we're going to use them as archetypes to help our hero's journey. Why is the hero's journey important? Because we're all going through this hero's journey, the circle of Shiva. So the first quadrant is the material world. And then stuff happens. That's what happened to Ram. It's what happened to the good guys, the 5 Pandavas. So that's the first quadrant, the material world. And Indians strongly identify with Ram because Ram has had many sort of tragedies in his life. He's had what is called a Kali moment, right? For instance, he was a young prince, he loses his kingdom. He had to go to the forest. There's a reason for that. That was his Kali moment. Then his wife gets abducted. Sita gets abducted by Ravana. That was another Kali moment. Then he rescues his wife with the help of Hanuman. Then there were another set of incidents where his wife Sita left him. That's another Kali moment. He had 2 kids, and the kids really didn't know him. And he ended up almost fighting his kids. So he had one Kali moment after the other, which is really India. Because Indian life in India, and I grew up in India for 22 years and 35 years in America, there are many challenges on an ongoing basis. So in a way, there are many Kali moments, you can interpret it that way in India. And Ram gives you the nobility, the way of dharmic living. He's all about dharma. But then you have in the Mahabharata another incarnation of Vishnu, which is Krishna now. And Krishna is all about charisma. Krishna is about the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so in the same first quadrant, in the hero's journey, after the Kali moment, it's the hero's journey for Ram, it's the hero's journey for Arjuna, who was a skilled archer, and Krishna was his Uber driver, but who became a major seer, a sage, a philosopher. Okay, so we're going to go through the hero's journey. We're going to put all the archetypes in the hero's journey of the Kali Yuga archetypes, which is Ganesh, Krishna, Durga, Kali, all these deities, and we're going to have our own story. But then, there's a story of Hanuman which is very inspiring. And it all starts with the leap of Hanuman. Because when Hanuman makes the leap, there are 2 aspects to the leap. And we're actually going to do a live demonstration of Hanuman's leap. So we'll take a little hiatus to the next video to see Hanuman's leap. Jai Hanuman.